We begin in the name of God. Greetings. Welcome to another session of From the Desk of Ghamidi. Our series of discussions continues in the 23 questions series, and today we are starting the 163rd episode. The topic under discussion is what is Hadith? Let us begin the 29th session on this topic. Thank you very much for your time, Ghamidi Sahab. We were discussing the term bayan. What is the meaning of bayan? Does it include transformation, reformation, determination, prohibition, or abrogation? And similarly, the rest of the meanings that are usually said to include in it, is this true or not? All those verses are under discussion, which are presented in critique of your point of view. After that, we are discussing how the commentators of the past, whether they be Zamakhshari, Razi, Ibn Kathir or Tabari, have understood these verses and the objections you have raised on that understanding. I would like to continue the discussion. Ghamidi Sahab, please explain this. Bayan is a term used in our principles of jurisprudence. In our tradition, once there was contemplation on the religion, this term was brought into discussion. In the Quran, the meanings in which this word has been discussed have become clear. Please tell me, does the viewpoint of the scholars of our past stand in support of your view, or do they hold to a different view?
The only fundamental point in whatever I have said so far is that the words bayan and tabi'in now under discussion are used in only two meanings. Either it is izhar al-shay, which when related to a word we say idhar al-mada or ibhar al-maqsood, and when it is used for the explanation of a word we say it is idah al-ma'na. It is idhar ma fi shay, that is, a thing already exists, a situation already exists, a discourse already exists. Regarding this, some clarification is being made. This is the point to which I am repeatedly drawing your attention, that our critics, without considering it, often create confusion. Instead of understanding these two concepts separately, they mix them up.
Right.
As a result, all this criticism has come into existence. Do the Imams of Usul do the same? Do they also proceed without differentiating between the two concepts? I say with full responsibility that they do not. They have understood the basis of this debate to be exactly at the point where I had also described it. That is, first of all, they determine that if we have adopted a term, then what meaning have we attributed to it? Although, when we make a word into a term, we are not bound to its general usage. However, since this term has been derived from the Quran, meaning the Quran has created this term, for this reason, they have taken up this discussion in the right manner and have first described the distinctions regarding meaning. The Hanafi Imams are under discussion. Among the Hanafi Imams, take the elders, Imam Jassas, Imam Bazdawi, Imam Dabusi, and Imam Sarakhsi. Previously, when I mentioned the Imams of Tafsir, I had taken up the tafsirs of the four Imams, and I had said that two of them have preferred one meaning and two have preferred the other meaning. Here too, the same thing has happened. That is, Imam Jassas and Imam Bazdawi have preferred one meaning, and Imam Sarakhsi and Imam Dabusi have preferred the second meaning. The choices are between the same two meanings, either to take them in the sense of idhar al-maqsood or to take it in the sense of idharu ma fi shay or idahul ma'na. We start from there. Hence, let's take two of them representatives, Imam Bazdawi and Imam Sarakhsi. The status of both of them in Hanafi scholarship does not need to be stated. Imam Bazdawi takes it in the sense of idhar al-shay, that is, he states that basically this has the meaning of expressing a point. I had told you the same thing when we say that the Quran is a bayanun linnas. The Quran itself has said the same thing about itself. So here it is in the sense of expressing the objective. The speaker of the Quran, who is it? The Lord of this universe. The speaker has expressed his point. The whole of the Quran has been described in this way. I had said that everything will be included in it. It has promises, warnings, commandments, and instructions. It has those things which have been given in the beginning and those which have been elaborated later, those things in which a command has been given in the first stage and in the second stage it has been changed. All these things will be described in it.
There will be the historical facts also?
All these things will be there. Make as long a list as you wish. There can be no restriction on it. I am expressing my point of view. You are expressing your point of view. God Almighty is expressing His point of view. He will say whatever He wills. Hence, I would like to tell you that one of our critics, a learned critic, has written an article on this topic himself. And the interesting point is that the discussion started from exactly this point. It has been stated, what does Imam Bazdawi take it as, and what does Imam Sarakhsi mean by this? I will present his own excerpts so that there is no room for dispute. He states that Allama Sarakhsi, rahimahullah, describes it, idhar al-ma'na wa idahi lil-mukhatib. The meaning has to be expressed and explained to the addressee in a clear manner. When the meaning is expressed, it is exactly the same as sharh wa waddaha, explanation and clarification, right. That is, the meaning is expressed in two aspects. Either the linguistic implications are revealed, or the intellectual content is revealed. All the examples that I have given are based on the same principle. For example, the linguistic content is that when the command was given to Bani Israel to slaughter a cow, so we explain the context there. What was hidden in that context that has been opened up or explored? And in the subsequent debates, I have elaborated on its intellectual content. These are the intellectual contents on which the whole of fiqh is based. So what is all this? It is the same thing, that is, idhar al-ma'na wa ida'uhu lil-mukhatib.
Here, there is no argument about whether you have to change something or amend something or change the emphasis.
Here, it is said that the words that have come in the background, what is their purport? In them, what is the meaningful content? That is, I may be mistaken. I may consider something as a mutamilul wujuh. I may misunderstand some meaning. It can be poetry, literature, Quran, Hadith. So you inform me that this is its meaning, this is its subject. And I have said that there will be linguistic complications in it. Sometimes there will be intellectual implications, because when any speech comes into existence, these two types of implications become associated with it at the time of its birth. It cannot begin its journey without these. They have clarified the topic of Allama Sarakhsi. This is the first point that has been stated. After that, you see Bazdawi says, but the pride of Islam, Bazdawi, has not described it in this way. Rather, he has taken it in the sense of mere expression. That is, it has become clear. Those are the two meanings. If there is no difference in the meanings, then why are both the points starting from here? The same difference is present everywhere in the Quran. The same difference is present everywhere among the Quran commentators. You will give preference and you have the right. I will give the reasons for my preference. You will give the reasons for your preference, or any other scholar, whoever establishes any opinion. So here you see the Imams of principles are laying the foundation of their discussion.
Both are distinct, making separate distinctions.
First of all, they are stating in which meaning we are taking this bayan. If there is no difference in the meanings and no difference occurs because of it, then the question is, why is there a need to state this? That is, what we have done so far is only to explain this point. You must remember that I had said that this is the first step. Until you do not encompass the meaning of a word and tell us what all things it includes, and on what basis, where, and what meaning has to be taken, the discussion cannot move ahead. So both of them have done exactly the same thing. That is, there is one meaning which has been made the basis by Imam Sarakhsi, and there is another meaning which have been made the basis by Imam Bazdawi. Now, what will be the necessary result of it? The necessary result will be that when both of them will expound on the types of bayan, then the difference will occur.
And that's what should happen.
Hence, that difference has taken place. Hence, when Bazdawi narrates it, it is obvious that he will look at it from the point of view of the expression of the topic. He will also see that at times the speaker presents their point emphatically. That is, they stress upon it. Sometimes he explains it. He doesn't restrict himself to brevity. If he has stated something, then he clarifies its referent. If there was a possibility of misunderstanding, then he removes it and clarifies what his objective is. He will do all these things, right?
Right.
He will tell you that sometimes he starts a discussion and mentions an exception to it, and sometimes he mentions a condition to it. In this way, he goes on dividing it, and in the same vein, he states that there can be a situation where they state about a command that its duration is over. That is, I had given this command, now it is no longer a command, it can be stated, right? So they included abrogation on the same principle and included it in the correct way. When Imam Jassas included it, he also did so correctly. This is because in the matter in which they have taken it from the beginning. Is there any objection to it in accordance with it?
There the expression of nask is being made.
The expression of nask is being made. I have just told you that when the Quran will call itself bayanun linnas, or when it will be said that God has made such and such thing clear in the Quran, it has been elaborated. When it will be said in reference to the speaker, then obviously all those things will be included in it. The topic is to be expressed, that is, there is no restriction here, there can be no restriction on the speaker. Whatever I say will be stated. In the same way, when Saraksi takes it in a different sense, he himself explains it. The reason for this difference is, he writes, that Allama Saraksi did not include nask in bayan. This is not the reason for this difference. That is, in the sense that he has taken it as a necessary result of it. Now, the word nask is not included in it.
Right, it makes complete sense.
It is not that they did not include nask. Hence, the difference has been created. Since the meaning they have taken, the inevitable result is that they will not include nask in it. That is, the whole discussion that I have done it keeping this in view. You must remember where this discussion started from. It started from a topic of burhan. In it, I stated first of all that there are two meanings, or the word is used from two aspects, and after that, with regard to the second aspect, that is, with regard to the aspect of dah al-mana, with regard to the aspect of idar al-mana, with regard to the meaning of idar mafa al-shay, which has been taken here by Saraksi, with regard to it, the discussion has been carried on. That is now, nothing can be included in it in which there is any change, any alteration. This has now gone beyond its limits. And in the same context, the sentence of Imam Bazdawi has been quoted, in which it has been stated that the bayan of Imam Bazdawi, that is, this bayan, the bayan in the meaning of the word da al-mana, when this bayan takes up something as it begins to exist, that same thing is expressed later.
No new thing can come in it?
No new thing can come in it. That is, the latent things that are part of its existence and are contained in it, if they are linguistic words, they will be opened with linguistic reasoning. And if there are logical arguments, they will be opened with logical reasoning. This is what has been stated. Now see what is written further. This is the reason that they have made the bayan specific with a specific pre-existing word or command. That is, why has it been made specific? There must be something preceding it, and this word will be related to it. Obviously, it has to be decided that it is in the sense of just stating it, or is it in the sense of explaining its objective and its meaning?
The contents of it have to be revealed.
If I state a point, it was the expression of my point of view. The moment you state it further, then I have said it already. At that time, it will go in the sense of tabligh or conveyance. That is, my point will be conveyed immediately. However, if you put it in front of you and reveal its meaning, reveal its contents, then it will be bayan in the second meaning, and that is the meaning of sharh, explanation. He says, however, that Allama Bazdawi has classified nask as a bayan. Hence, keeping this in view, Imam Saraksi has defined bayan. He says, فَإِنَّ had al-bayan ghayru had al-naskh. That is, the description of the bayan and the description of the naskh are separate. Both are not the same thing. لأن البيان إذر حكم حديث عند وجوده ابتداءً. What is being stated here? An incident has taken place, something has been stated. In that, the things that have been implied since the beginning of its existence will be expressed. This is the bayan. وَالنَّسْخُ رَفْعُ الْحُكْمِ بَعْدَ الثُّبُوتِ. And what is naskh? A command has been established, now it has to be completed. That is, the latent aspects of the command have been made clear, it has been stated in every respect, people should follow it. Now, there has been some change in it. A command was given. The period for which it was given has been completed. After terminating the command, a new thing is coming in its place. This is called abrogation or naskh. Here, he has defined that very same thing. After this, you see, Imam Bazdawi, his point of view is different. I have stated that he taking it in the sense of expressing the objective. Keeping that in view, they have also divided it into types of bayan. And he says that all the initial commandments that have come in the Quran will be stated in this regard. I have given the example that keeping this in mind, the Quran says, Hadha bayanun lil nas. This Quran is a bayan from God for the people. It is a statement from the speaker, so he can state whatever he wishes. This is what he has stated. And then it says, وَإِنْ أُرِيدَ إِظْهَارُ مَا هُوَ الْمُرَادُ مِنْ كَلَامٍ سَابِقٍ. However, if there is a word before it, it has come into existence, like the verse of Surah An-Nahl, which is under discussion. There, مَا نُزِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ has already come into existence. Now, when this action is used with it, and you take it in the sense of sharh wa wadaha, then what will be the meaning? That is, if there is a word already existing, وَإِنْ أُرِيدَ إِظْهَارُ مَا هُوَ الْمُرَادُ مِنْ كَلَامٍ سَابِقٍ, and there, the word which is already existing, its meaning has to be stated. That is, its meaning has to be expressed. That is, إِظْهَارُ مَا فِي شَيْءٍ. The same as I had said. He is taking it in the sense of إِضَاحِ الْمَعْنَى. So he says, فَلَيْسَ بَيَانًا. This is not bayan. Keeping the same thing in mind, he has made it clear that when Imam Bazdawi takes it in that sense, the word is bayan. And when Imam Sarakhsi takes it in this sense, then it is not a naskh bayan.
Absolutely.
That is, this is the result of taking the word in that sense, which is being discussed by keeping it in front of us. An interesting aspect in this is that while concluding this whole discussion, one of our distinguished critics himself, the person who has written the article on bayan, has quoted from one of Husami's book's commentators. And the interesting point is that it is relevant to this debate. Listen to that passage also. النزاع ليس على ما ينبغي لأن من أدخله في البيان أراد بالبيان مجرد إظهار المقصود فعلى هذا النسخ بيان كما لا يخفى ومن أخرجه أراد بالبيان إظهار ما هو المراد مما هو كلام سابق فعلى هذا هو ليس ببيان فتأمل. I will not translate it as he himself has summarized and translated it. I will read that only so that there is no question of dispute or disagreement. He says that it should not be considered as a dispute, because those who included naskh in bayan, they took bayan in the meaning of clarifying the purport of the speech of the speaker. They took bayan as meaning the expression of the speaker's intended meaning. However, those who excluded naskh from it, they took it in the sense of clarifying the objective of a particular previous word. That is, in the sense of explaining the meaning of a previous word. The same thing, da al-mana, the same thing is idar al-mana, the same thing is idhar ma fi shay. If it is taken in this sense, then the result will be this. And if it is not taken, then the result will be that. So it will be the same difference which Imam Bazdawi has adopted. The literal translation of it has also been done in the same way. This is the summary of this discussion. You can imagine that the sentence which I have read to you, I have read it here, and before that, I have presented the excerpt of Taftazani to you. Whatever I have said till now, it is that explanation. All of it embodies its explanation, after which there is no need to say anything more. There is no need for any further explanation. My own viewpoint cannot be clarified better than this. So, he himself has clarified that these are in fact two uses of the word. We are trying to say the same thing from the beginning. When you look at the usage of the word from one aspect, then as a result, the terminology will be as follows. These will be its results. These things will come under it. And when you take it in the sense of shar wa wadaha, then the nature will change completely. This is the whole discussion from where this discussion started. The discussion which I did 42 years ago in Burhan. The first thing, as I am repeatedly reminding you, I had said that the word, in this context which we are discussing, is used in two meanings. If we take it in one meaning, then the purport will be this. If we take it in the other meaning, then the purport will be that. If we take it in the meaning of shar wa wadaha, then its limits are these. Whatever was my point of view, it was in this context. I have clarified it with my own arguments. Whatever the Imams of principles say, I have presented it to you in the form of their own expressions.
Right, Ghamidi Sahab, it has become quite clear how the comprehensive knowledge of the Ummah perceives this meaning of bayan. The two different aspects of bayan, taking them into consideration, are discussed in tafsir or within the principles. The point has become completely clear. After this, I want us to move the discussion forward and ask you, this was the discussion of the word bayan, which has come in the Holy Quran and is also a term in the usul literature of our Ummah's tradition. After all this, as a result, where does the knowledge of the Ummah stand? Has the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the explanations of the religion? As a result, do you believe that he has in the original guidance established, modified, altered, simplified, restricted or refined or not? Inshallah, we will discuss this. The time is running out. We will be back again. Thank you very much for your time till now.